Welcome to Spoiler Alert, and I'm not making light of the term spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what happens in this film, I advise you walk away now because you can't handle the truth. This week at the cinema I went to see Rec 2, a typical zombie horror film that's designed to leave the underpants of even the hardest men stained darker than the wrath of Hades. The movie uses the same shaky handheld camera antics of the likes of Cloverfield and follows the same generic flow as Rec and its horrid American remake Quarantine, in which they decided we were so stupid that they'd have to digest the whole film just because it's in a different language and inject whatever came out straight into our cerebellum. Rec 2 follows on directly from the ending of the first Rec, and this time to make things a little less scary, our main camera operative is part of a Special Forces unit. The unit has been sent to the exact same setting as the first movie, to retrieve something that is needed to put a stop to the zombie outbreak. A zombie repellent or something. We are then introduced to most of the unit in the back of a van, such as the quite psychotic looking guy constantly cocking his gun like a 14-year-old watching a 12 o'clock Freeview. We also see a handy little system in which the camera operative can change our point of view to any of the other team members using a link up with the cameras attached to their helmets. This will come in handy as Scooby-Doo and the rest of the gang split up around the haunted mansion and we want to catch every little gory detail. So the team enter the haunted mansion, infected building, and are told what they are looking for is actually in the penthouse. Surprise, surprise. The magical zombie repellent couldn't be behind the reception desk because the police were actually planning on picking it up later in the week. No, it must be at the top of the magical tower. Oh, and did I mention that some scientist is now joining the party, and for some reason he's giving all the orders. At this point we see lots of red paint on mirrors and floors reminding us of what happened in the building the first time around, which is good because I haven't seen the original film in years. So away they go ascending the stairs with absolutely no trouble whatsoever. Something I will never understand is later on the house will suddenly become crawling with brain-dead vermin, but this is a perfect example of how the film actually works, as it keeps the tension all the way to the top of the stairs, as we were wondering when the first bastard will jump out, causing us to throw our popcorn into the laps of those sitting around us. Once getting to the top of the stairs, the party can finally find what they have been looking for, but surprise, surprise. Just like in most films when the protagonist is looking for something, there's nothing there but a note stating "fuck you," with an attached Polaroid of the villain teabagging his mother. Anyway, the party hear a scuffle downstairs and so they rush to the rescue, and by party I mean one person. That's right. As an infection has broke out that can only be passed on by touch in a creepy house which has all the inhabitants gone rabid, you send one person. I doubt this is honestly protocol even for the Spanish police force, though they do record their friend having his face eaten. I honestly didn't want to point this out as a flaw because it's done so often in movies it's beyond a joke. It seems that groups split up so frequently in these situations that it's now acceptable to write them in deliberately just to piss me off. Then again, it gives us a good chance to use the death cam, as I'm going to call it, in which we can see through the eyes of the person who's gone off alone because they're blatantly not going to return. Despite us as the viewer knowing their demise, the scene is pulled off quite well in a nail-biting sequence where I was almost wetting myself, probably because I just finished my supersized coke. At this point we see one of our special operatives get bitten, change into a zombie, and he is then locked into a room by a crucifix and some magic spell cast by the scientist, who turns out is actually a priest. Oh, and those zombies? Yeah, they're not really zombies. They're demons who are possessing people led by this first infected girl. Now I know what you're thinking, this is honestly bullshit. But when you think about it, this is quite good, as the movie introduces a few twists to an already overly done zombie genre. I can't be the only one out there who's a little bit sick of rage-infected monkeys and an evolved strain of the Ebola virus reverting humanity back to cannibalistic freaks with no sense of pain, and who, let's face it, are immortal. I never understand that no matter how much blood a zombie loses, it can still run as fast as Usain fucking Bolt. Anyway, after some bits and bobs, the team find out that there is actually a sample of blood, which is the magical item we've been looking for, in the loft someplace. The team then go looking for it, and after a few tense scenes, they find a vial of blood in an air duct. It then turns out that the priest won't let anyone leave, mainly because he's on a massive power trip, because he can finally tell someone other than a group of choir boys what to do, but also because he wants to test the blood and see if it is the sample that they are after, even though it's properly labelled, and probably comes with a birth certificate and a national insurance number. At this point the team are led back to square one though, because the priest casts a spell on a specimen of blood which sets fire, showing it's the right sample. But this is proved fucking useless as he sets fire to the rest of the test tube of blood as well, and so they go off looking for another sample. Where else will they find another sample of blood other than looking for the first zombie herself? We then sit through about 30 minutes watching how another group of people somehow got inside the building, which is a kick in the nuts for the viewers. It completely undoes any immersion you have with any of the characters, and not a lot even happens, and to be honest 5 minutes of dialogue would have sufficed. Though there is a good scene in which a Spanish sniper team fail to hit a single person after shooting off about 20 clips of ammo, and yet a girl who finds a pistol kills 2 people with 2 shots. Fair enough, only one was a zombie and she accidentally shoots a fireman who is helping her, which is fucking hilarious. We then see another plot twist when the portal from the first movie shows up and ends up helping the party find a magical door upstairs that you can only see when there is no light shining on it. Okay, so there are quite a few plot holes filled in by magic in this film. It's like the Force or Voldemort. At the end here, the film seems to take a bit of a nosedive, and as if the whole fucking film wasn't a bit samey, they decided to make the last scene exactly the same. In a magical room with a killer demon armed with a fork hammer sniffing you out trying to kill you. But with there being initially 4 characters in the loft, it doesn't seem to have the same effect as the first movie. And it has quite an anticlimactic ending, as it turns out the demon will die from a shotgun blast to the head. Wish I'd thought of that. No need for silver bullets or Christian voodoo here. Though the film does end on a dark note, as the zombie infected are presented previously by tentacle rape to the face, like a sex-craved alien.
We're not unreasonable. I mean, no one's gonna eat your eyes.